All right, so let's talk about Kaloud Lotus HMDs for a moment. We're going to go through their entire lineup and talk about a little bit, compare them a little bit, and talk about the differences a little bit. Everything's going to be just a little bit. So first thing is the Kaloud Lotus 1. This is the 1 Plus. So the original one I do not have. It is just a smaller version of this one. This is a little bit wider, easily fits 3 of the cube charcoals that a lot of people enjoy using. Yeah, I want to come back to this one after I've talked about the next two. So my first introduction to owning Kaloud Lotus was actually the Kaloud Lotus 2. I've used the Kaloud Lotus 1 and I've had many opportunities to, but the Kaloud Lotus 2 was the very first one that I actually owned for myself. And interesting design choice with the handle. This is how you actually put on the lid for it, and then you drop it. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little clunky, but it looks really nice. It's a really good size in comparison even to the Kaloud Plus one. I think it fit all 3 charcoal really nicely. Used it for a long time, always a big fan of it, but a little clunky in a lot of ways. Now, the nice thing about the handle getting taken off is that you don't have to worry about it getting too hot if you touch it and stuff, because it's getting removed, obviously. Good, clunky. That's what I would say about this. Usable, used it a lot. The other thing about this one is a little bit not as flush when it comes to the fitting of this. Obviously, you have these protruding, nipples, if you will, that are coming out of this, but this has a whole ass that pops out of the bottom of it, and that is something that what I would usually do is when I'd put on a bowl, I'd put it on a bowl and I'd do this, and it'd kind of like twist off the top part of the tobacco, and that would help me clean the bowl and get it set to the level that I like to use it at. That's something that I would do with it. Then we got the Kaloud Lotus 3. All right, here's the number 3. This one's the one that I've had for a much longer amount of time, used it a lot. It had the lid right here that you'd be able to slide onto it as well. This one, I wouldn't say this one's clunky, but it just has such a it has an interesting look to it, because the fact that it's like, yin yang almost, if you will, when it comes to the handles and stuff, you almost always feel like you're gonna touch it. Like it's just close enough that you're like, am I gonna touch it? So it just had that kind of like, once again, I really like this one a lot. I would say the Kaloud Lotus 3 probably would have been my favorite compared to the 1 and 2, or the 2 and 3. I've had so many great sessions with this, and I just have always really enjoyed it. I really like the look of this one, especially the lid of it. I always thought it looked really nice, just aesthetically pleasing and stuff. And then it worked just really good. Like every time I used this, I was like, I feel like I'm having a really, really good session. Really like the way that it smoked, put together, the way that it looked, all the pieces, all the elements to it. Big fan of the Kaloud Lotus 3. Now let's come back to the Kaloud Lotus 1 Plus, because what their Kaloud Lotus did is they've created the 1 Plus 3. And what they did is they paired the 3 lid to it. I don't own the 1 Plus or the original one, so I don't know if you can take a 3 and just slap that on top of it. This one came as a set together for the 1 Plus 3. Here's the things about the 1 that I like more than the 3, and that I like more than the 2. I like the simplicity of this to the point where it's going to work no matter what you do with it, and you don't have to do any extra prep work with it. And I really like that added ease ability to it. I'm not saying that this is unique purely to this HMD, but I am talking about this HMD. With the 3, you're not doing any extra prep work necessarily, but just because of the design and the look of it, it's a little bit different in the way that you're handling it or the way that you are using it for certain tobaccos. This one is a little bit heavy duty compared to the 3, so you're adding that heat extra component to this, but you're getting a lot more heat output, I feel, comparatively to this one. I used 3 charcoal on both of these. Equally the same kind of usage, but I feel like I'm getting a much more consistent smoke out of this one quickly, and it's getting at that temperature that I like smoking at a little bit faster as well. That might be more anecdotal to the way that it feels more than any actual evidence. I've never timed it or anything like that. The other thing that I like about the 1 versus 2, oh, here it is I never liked the big butt that sticks out of it. It just is way too much protrusion that's coming out of it. The nubs that are on this, way less intrusive towards the overall smoking of it and stuff, so I've never really had any issues. This one constantly would get it gets dirty. It does. Yeah, well, a lot of HMDs will get dirty, but this one much quicker, much faster because of the way that it protrudes onto the tobacco. You're kind of limiting yourself with the kind of bowls that you're using because you can't do something a little bit more shallow. You have to do something that's a little bit more deeper because you're going to, I mean, overall, you don't have to. You get to smoke the way that you want to smoke with your bowl. But normally you want to smoke things that are a little bit more fluffy in the way that you pack in your consistency with an HMD. The heat, I'd love to do a video and talk more about that. Love to hear your opinion. Do you like doing things a little bit more fluffy, or would you like to really compress it in when you're using an HMD? Do you smoke it any differently in the way that you pack? I do. Do you? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on that. Yeah, I really like this 1+3. Really enjoyed it a lot. And then when you pair it up with the silicone sleeves, which are like almost going to be released, they need to come out soon. It's opened the versatility of using an HMD to the point that I haven't used foil. This is me, okay? I smoke foil, apple on top. That's what I'm used to doing. That's what I've done for such a very long time. Because of these silicone sleeves and the easeability of using it on any bowl. At first when I got these, I thought you had to have a bowl that perfectly fit the sleeve so that you could 100% get a tight, snug fit on it so that you'd be safe and secure. This is a 1010 bowl. It fits really nice and snug on that. I thought you had to have a snug bowl to be able to use these efficiently. You don't. Because that's the cool thing about these silicone sleeves is they fit over the HMD and then they fit over the bowl. So the easeability of this is now, it's so simple. It's so, I'm flabbergasted by how simple of an idea these silicone sleeves are and how well they work, because they've made me want to use HMDs instead of using foil. That's how much I like these I know that there are a lot of people that they walked around on a bowl that barely fit on like this all the time, okay? This scares me. I don't like this. This is not my preferred way of doing it, but hey, I'm different. I'm not like you. You're not like me. We have differences. That's what makes us us, right? So for me, this with the silicone sleeve has created a newfound level of joy for HMDs, and I just really like that a lot. But yeah, when this gets released, get yourself a pair of them because they're super versatile, very usable. If you don't have a Kaloud Lotus 1 Plus, which I think a lot of people do, even very newer smokers will get a Kaloud Lotus pretty early on because I feel like they're very well talked about. They're highly regarded. So I see a lot of people that already have them, obviously. But if you don't already have one, it is worth it. It's a fantastic HMD. It is built from the ground up with people that care and love this hobby. And if you don't know the story of Kaloud, super interesting, really worth researching and looking into. But yeah, big fan of the Kaloud Lotus 1 Plus. I like the 2. I love the 3. But the Kaloud Lotus 1, I love the simplicity to it, that it makes me feel like I'm going back to roots of hookah and I'm rebuilding some of the things that I already really like when it comes to smoking with it. But let me know what your thoughts are, what you guys think of the Kaloud Lotus, what you think about using any of these kind of things that I've shown you, and if you want different kind of content and videos about this kind of information, let me know. Throw me a like, a comment, all that kind of stuff. Happy 2025. We're on a roll. Let's keep on going and let's have some fun this year, guys. I'm super excited to be here, a part of this. My name's Matt. Thank you so much for stopping by, hanging out at the channel, and let's have some fun. Let's get 2025. Buy the ball, throw some tobacco in it, make it hot, and get some smoke. Until next time, I'll catch you when the smoke clears. My name is Matt. Bye.